Hi there, so we're talking about stocks. So what the heck is a stock anyways? Stock is nothing more than a certificate saying that you own part of a company. You own a portion of a company. A unit of stock, one stock is a share. They call that a share of stock. So if you own more than 1 unit, you own shares of stock. So why do companies issue stock? Well, let's here's just an example. Let's say you take Nike, and Nike wants to open up a new factory. They want to create a new type of shoe that's virtually weightless. But to do this, they've got to open up a new factory. They've got to they've got to install some new machines, and all this is going to be it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost about $500 million. They go to a bank because they don't have this money available right now, and they say, hey, can we borrow $500 million? The bank says, oh, that sounds kind of risky. No, we don't think you're going to make money on this, and then you won't be able to pay us back, so we're not going to give you the loan. So what other options does Nike have? Well, one of the things that Nike can do is they can raise money by issuing stock. So they can go to the public and they can say, hey, if you want to buy shares of our company, we're going to start selling these shares at like $10 a share. So people can buy those shares, and then once people buy those shares, they can then trade those shares among themselves. And Nike can even buy back those shares. So that's one of the ways that companies can raise money is by issuing stock. Now, not all stocks issue stock. I'm sorry, not all companies issue stock. Some companies have decided to stay private, which means that only the owners, original owners, still have those shares of stock. The shares are not available for the public. So what types of stocks are there to invest in? There are tons. You've got stuff from like the aerospace defense industry. You've got stuff from the financial industry, Citibank, Chase, chemicals, Dow Chemical, insurance companies, utilities like Exelon, airlines, Delta, Southwest, gaming companies, Sony, they make the PlayStation 3, Microsoft, Xbox 360. Microsoft makes that, so you could invest in Microsoft if you're interested in investing in a gaming company, and even GameStop. Places that sell games, you can even invest in those types of companies because they're publicly traded. You've got retail places like Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, The Gap. You can buy stock in all those different types of companies. So places where stocks are traded. You've got the New York Stock Exchange, and that is located on Wall Street in New York. And you've probably seen pictures of Wall Street. It's the guys in a pit. They're down in this pit and they're yelling at each other, buy, sell, buy, sell. A company has to be worth at least $100 million to be traded on Wall Street. Now, there's also the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is a computer system that handles trades, and a company has to be worth at least $8 million to be traded on the NASDAQ. Now, sometimes companies will, they'll be traded on the NASDAQ and they'll choose to stay on the NASDAQ, like Microsoft and Apple and Google. They're all traded on the NASDAQ because they were not worth $100 million at the time. But now they're worth lots more, and they've decided to stay on the NASDAQ. Then you've got lesser-known companies like the American Stock Exchange, and you have to be worth at least $3 million to be traded on that exchange. Are stocks risky? Well, stocks can be risky, but historically, stocks, on average, all stocks combined together, they beat inflation. Remember, the key is to investing money is you gotta beat inflation. The rate of inflation is 3%. So in the long run, stocks have provided an excellent rate of return. The average annual rate of return for the stock market has been 10.41%, and that's 10.41% every single year. So if we look at this graphic right here on Yahoo Finance, this is a graph of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's just a grouping of stocks from the that are in the industry sector. From the United States, and this is from the late 20s up until today. And if you look at this right here, we had the stock market crash in the late 20s. But notice, since then, stocks have gone up. Historically, stocks go up. Now, eventually, you'll have little dips. You'll have recessions. But for the most part, over time, the stock market is going to go up. So if you want to do some research about stocks, what you can do is you can go to finance.google.com, And Google's got a great site for you to explore stocks and look at their technical information along with their fundamentals to see how they've been doing. So if we look at the page that opens when you go to Google Finance, it'll just give you a brief update about the market and how it's been doing. Looks like the Dow Jones Industrial Average went up 17 points from yesterday. So if I want to find information about a company, I usually need to have its ticker symbol. The ticker symbol is just an abbreviation for the company name. For example, Apple's ticker symbol is AAPL. Microsoft's ticker symbol is MSFT. So if I want to do a search, if I want to look at Microsoft's information, I just type that in, press enter, and information about Microsoft will come up. So it looks like Microsoft, one share of Microsoft is currently trading at $28.52. This right here tells us that the shares of Microsoft have gone up 5 cents from yesterday, and that's an increase of 0.18%. This up here tells us what exchange Microsoft is being traded on. It's being traded on the NASDAQ, and right here, this is the 52-week range. So this was the low. So in the past year, this was the lowest that Microsoft stock has been traded at. This 29.35, this is the highest that's ever been traded at. So you can tell right here that Microsoft is trading at closely to its high for the year. So we've come down here. This is a graph right here that shows us some information about the stock. It shows us the past 3 days of trading, and this shows us the activity pretty much minute by minute. If I want to come down here, I can expand this, make it customizable. So this shows us just from September to October. I can come up here as well, and I can say, let's just look at 3 months. For the past 3 months, how has Microsoft been doing? If I do 6 months, so notice this number right here. So if I look at this number right here, this is going to show me the rate of return. This is how Microsoft has been doing since, I guess, the beginning of May. So if I had invested in Microsoft last May, my rate of return will be 36.02%. So if I do year to date, this will show me everything since January. So the rate of return, if I had invested in Microsoft since last January, is what is that? 46.71%. What is it since 1 year ago? So that's 1 year to date. So if I look at 5 years, obviously Microsoft is trading a little bit higher than what it was 5 years ago. Now notice these D's right here, those stands for dividends. And that is a dividend that Microsoft will give out. They share their profits with their shareholders. So if you own 1 share of stock, right here you would have gotten a 9-cent dividend. And that's just income coming into you for every share of stock that you own. So down here, if we've got information that shows related companies, so it shows Microsoft and how it's doing in comparison to Google and IBM and Novell. If I want to look at the stuff over a month, this gives me a brief glimpse over the past year. This shows me how the companies have been doing. This down here is a description of the company. It tells me what Microsoft does, and this shows me who the officers are. It looks like William H. Gates, Bill Gates, is the chairman of the board, while Steve Ballmer is the CEO. One more thing, if I come up here, and this is pretty cool, this shows you, let me go back to 1 month, this shows you news stories that relate to Microsoft, and how you can kind of compare these headlines to what the stock was doing at the time, which is kind of cool. Also, you can compare Microsoft to other stocks. If I type AAPL, I'm going to compare it to Apple. So looking at both of these stocks for the past 6 months, Apple has had a rate of return of 50.57%, while Microsoft's had a rate of return of 47.61%. So this is Google Finance. Pretty cool way to learn about a stock if you want to invest in it. But remember, stocks are a pretty good investment in the long run because they beat inflation. The average annual rate of return for stocks for the past 20 years was 10.41%. So hope this helps, and we'll catch you later.